I'm going to call this series Shooting with Grandpa's Guns.
Beautiful day for the range. Basically no wind, nice and sunny day. It's gonna be awesome. Did you know that T-Rexes lived closer in time to the iPhone than they did to the Stegosaurus? Well, now you know. Good afternoon to all my fellow bench loaders out there. As you see, we are not actually on the bench today, but instead we are in my office to talk about some results I found particularly surprising on some of those loads that we made last week. Some of the results I got were exactly the opposite of what I was expecting. To start off, I'm actually going to show you something that really surprised me. I didn't do any loads on camera, but I have a 243 that I needed to sight in as well. And here's kind of the results of it. So, as you can see, it is so far off paper, like what the actual crap is that? But finally, I figured out, oh, bullseye right there. So I dialed a few clicks to the to the left, and a few clicks down. Started that little group right there, and then I finished off with that group right there. You know what the best bullet was? 75 grain hollow point from Sierra that I believe was manufactured in the 1970s. Pretty cool, huh? This is said rifle. It's got a nice little 3 to 9 Vortex Crossfire. Crossfire 2, nothing special at all, but nice tack driver. I had it recently refinished, got this entire barrel redone, got it threaded by a gunsmith so that I could put my suppressor on it, and I have had way too much fun with this thing for, Now, there's no such thing as too much fun in the gun world. But enough of that, because we're here about the 270 that we reloaded for last week. So here's the results that came from said 270, trying to sight it in. Nice and all over the place too. But different areas for different groups. So let's get started with what really surprised me is this group right here was shot with the H4350 for the 130 grains. This splattering right here was the Varget 130s. Best group came from down here with, again, the 4350 130 grains. Fantastic. Isn't that awesome? But then the one I really didn't expect was these down here. Hopefully you can see that. These ones down at the bottom. That was from the 150 grains. I expected them to group much closer together. At least I was hoping, because that's what I wanted to take elk hunting this year. Second best grouping is from this. This is that 130 grain Sierra boat tail. The best group I got, I have no idea how, was with this Spear 130 grain. Sold! The other thing that surprised me most is the 150 grains had a harder time feeding, and it was the only one that had a misfire. The primer was not seated too deep. It had a good enough puncture on it. It should have gone off. 150 grain with H4350. I guess my gun just doesn't like 150s. I did also end up doing a second round with the Varget 130 grain Sierras, and same result. Got about 1 MOA, but 1 up and 2 left. So relatively accurate. Just have to work on actually sighting the rifle for that. I think maybe I'll make myself some dope charts. Anyway, the final result, we're gonna have to reload them more together. Thank you for joining me on episode 1 of Shooting Grandpa's Guns. I'm pretty happy with the results so far. Like I said, we'll just need to be reloading. I'm going to try a couple of different projectiles. I'm going to try some Hornady, and I want to try some Barnes next. So we will see you next time in the reloading bench. Until then, happy reloading and happy hunting.